So what I was saying was, how are you?
Good.
What's been going on?
Nothing. My puppy's about to graduate in a couple hours from puppy
What do you
garden.
Puppy? What is puppy garden?
Puppy kindergarten? Like,
I don't know. I don't know what that
she's
is.
in like dog training classes, and this is like the kindergarten level. So like today's the last day, so she's going through that. So she's gonna have a cap in the ground on a full.
Are you serious?
I'm so like this shit is.
That's
so
a kid,
white, bro.
That's a straight up kid right there. That's a child. What do you guys? Wait, so is that sort of thing? That sounds expensive.
It's not. It's like $100.
No?
It's like a little Petco little training class thing.
Okay, I think I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, they just want to be head ass about it. That's all.
Yeah. You know what? Let's actually talk about pets real quick, because I know that you were hesitant on getting the dog, right? You were hesitant on getting a puppy because you had what kind of dog was it? I
had a black lab.
A black lab for how many years?
We had her for 5 years when she passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, because we got her right before we moved. We bought the house, and then she passed away right before we moved, and that was 5 years. So yeah, about 5 years.
Okay, yeah. How, like, how do you feel? Like, okay, what's your ideal pet? Like, are you a dog person? Are you a cat person? Are you just like whatever? Like what? Because pets are such a huge part of people our age that don't have kids, so it's just like what, where do you stand on this?
Me personally, would it be wild to say neither?
no, that's yeah, I'm saying like
if
even though you have both.
Like if I didn't have a pet, I would be okay, but the companionship of it, like for example, my cat, you see her in the fucking episodes, she's always like, hey, where are you? Like, let me hang out with you. I'll cuddle with you. I'm gonna sit by your foot. She always likes cuddling with me. At night, she will wait. Like after 8 p.m., she's hanging with me, and that's kind of endearing. It's like, wow, we have this bond. Same with the other cat. He'll hang out. He'll come and get pets. It's cool. Dogs, they're cool. I like them because they're active participants in the companionship. They're like, oh, you give me something, I'll give you something. Whereas cats are more so like,
they're too independent, is what it is.
Yeah, they coexist with you.
Yeah, they're like roommates. It's like, look, just feed me, and that's
exactly. Make sure the fridge is stocked, and we're good. And I think I like kind of both dichotomies of it.
The different aspects.
Yeah, I think everybody should have. I think before you have a kid, you should have a pet. It's the ultimate test.
I guess that's a good piece of advice, because there is, especially, so Elise has been wanting to get a dog, Elise, my girlfriend, and the main thing for me is the amount of training, it takes, the amount of attention, and I feel like a dog really limits your mobility in a lot of ways. I have so many friends where we go out and it's like, well, we got to be home because the dogs are in the cage right now. We got to go, do this and that. And sure, that could be just an excuse to get away from me. But it's also just like, damn, you guys really need a dog sitter all the time. You need it's like
we gotta plan trips, and we gotta get a kennel, and we gotta
it's really it's a really involved experience. Dogs are, I had a Saint Bernard and a chocolate lab, and at the same time, and I did like having a dog, but I do think there's a level of responsibility with them that I think just didn't, maybe it's that I didn't love having dogs so much that I was okay with having to do all the shit that I would have to do, coming home and then there being a giant shit mess because he ate something he wasn't supposed to. I'm like, that almost overrode my love for the dog, where I was like, fuck having dogs. As much as I think you're cute and you're great, you're just way too much work, more work than I want to do,
chewing up carpet or fucking
ruining your favorite shoes or something. It's
peeing everywhere. I can get it, because dogs are way more destructive than cats. While cats, they will scratch up anything that they can get their mangy claws on.
Yeah.
I think,
or the pee on anything.
Yeah. I think what it is that, like, when it comes to dogs, at least, it's a little different. Because, like, I feel like if you're, like, an active person, you can get a cat. Because all you got to do is, like, make sure the litter box is fresh and feed them once a day, for real. Just give them, like, wet food at night or something like that. And they'll be straight.
Right.
They'll figure it out. They'll do their own thing. Whereas dogs, like you said, they are active. Like, right now, even during the training process. It's been surprisingly very chill, the training process with this dog compared to any other dog I've trained, which is like the weirdest thing in the world. But she's still, you know, hard-headed. Like, even today, she peed downstairs right before I took her out, and it's like, all right, like, we were at the door, like, you just hold it for 2 seconds, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I think my ideal dog is the old dog that you saw in the BOTR Awards. My old roommates, their dog. It's the chillest dog in the world. You don't need to take them out. You can leave her there all day. She won't pee. You can do whatever you want. Forget. She's like a cat, but as a dog. Like, just chills, lays down, hops in your lap. Does whatever the fuck she wants, and it cools out.
What kind of dog was it?
It was a pit bull chihuahua mix.
What the fuck? What did it look like?
It's a small pit bull. It's like a pit bull.
I don't think
that's like this big, bro.
I don't think I've ever. Okay,
She's
I just didn't realize.
She's in the BOTR Awards, like sleep on the couch in the BOTR Awards video.
Okay, maybe she just look more normal. I guess when someone says Chihuahua Pitbull mix,
yeah, you expect some.
It
weird
conjures
shit.
up like I'm like, wait, what? Those two?
Yeah, but in like she just has like. She just looks like a pit bull, but like tiny. Like she has a big ass pit bull head, but then like a tiny chihuahua body. And
okay,
yeah, it's the perfect size for it.
Tiny chihuahua. Do you remember? Did you ever watch Jim Carrey's The Mask?
No, I have not actually. I've watched.
You've never seen it?
I watched The Mask 2. Is it called The Mask 2?
Oh, the Son of the Mask.
Yeah, Son of the Mask, the one with
that
Malibu Muslim like, and whatever his name is.
Yeah. That's so interesting that you hadn't seen the original. The original is really fun and cartoony, but there's a part where where the main character Jim Carrey, he has a dog. The dog puts on the mask, and it's basically this. I think it's a Boston Terrier, right? That type of dog.
Tiny one. Yeah, ugly looking
But
ones.
he puts on the mask and he has like a massive head and like a like a small body, and that's sort of what comes to mind is that fucking The Mask reference. Shout out to The Mask. That's a great movie. Great movie. I love that one. But
how's life been treating you, man? I don't know. I don't want to spoil, but you know, I don't know when this is coming out.
We'll keep things under wrap for now. But I feel like we don't talk as much about what's been going on in our lives more recently for whatever reason. But I really can't say that there's that much that has been going on. I mean, last year was just whatever. Yeah, like I didn't do as much video work as I wanted to last year, mostly because I'm not as disciplined as I would like to be. But yeah, I don't know. It's been okay. It's been good. I have my health. I've been playing a lot of games, watching a lot of movies. More recently, me and Elise did a double feature where we watched 2 movies in the theater back to back, and one of the movies was an hour and 30 minutes and the other movie was 3 hours and 3.5 hours.
Oh my
so
goodness.
we were locked in. We were fucking just locked in. But yeah, I had to change my room around because we got tile. So that whole process was happening, and if you can imagine, I don't know how much you'll be able to see on the screen, but like I have all this shit in this room.
Oh yes.
All these things connected intricately, delicately. It took me a week and a half to like disassemble everything. Well, I did it in chunks because I knew like doing it all in one day was just going to be too overwhelming. So like I was slowly taking things apart, moving them into the living room, and then moving into moving it into the garage. And so it was doable, but it just took time. And then slowly moving it back in the room and figuring it. And then I switched everything around. As you can see, the door is here. This is the door to...
Like out of the room?
Yeah, out of the room. Because everything is backwards now. I used to be right here. This is where I was, typically. The desk, and I was facing... Yeah.
Bro, how big is this room, bro? What the fuck? This shit is...
It's
bro,
not...
You've had
it's the
5
camera.
different setups this whole podcast, and
That's true. This is
every
true.
time
I have
I'm like,
had...
what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved like changing shit around. I used to move a lot when I was a kid, like every year, when our lease was up. Yeah, so from apartments to homes, and there's something about like changing things up every so often that I actually enjoy, like making my room into weird configurations. The space isn't that big, like I have a yardstick right here. Hold on, let me. Hold on. All right, so it's about 14 feet.
Okay.
So it's long, and then it's like maybe 8 feet across, or maybe.
Okay, 9. So it's like the same. That's the same length that the old room that I used to record in. That's the exact same length, and I guess you just utilize the space a lot better than me. Plus, you have that big ass window right there. So
yes, the window. Yeah, right here.
The window makes it look bigger than it is because you have that giant like space right there. Comparatively to me, I just had like 2 windows, so it kind of limited a lot of what I could do. That's why my setup just went from like 1 rotation, and then I just did a 90-degree rotation like halfway through before I like moved. Like even here, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I could have did better. It's a lot of space, and I could have did better. I'll probably switch it around. I do like switching it around.
Yeah, and it's different for you now because like. One, you own the space, but also it's a lot bigger. You have the couch, you have a whole like mini living room right there, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's like you can really do a lot if you wanted to, but I've pretty much been on every end of this wall with my window's right here now. I think that I'm gonna be here more permanently because one thing that would happen is that I always wanted light on me, like sunlight or just outside light. So if I was in this corner, I would neglect doing things because I didn't want to be like in this dark ass corner. So I would like have to like bring a lamp, and I'm like, it's just so dark over here. It feels like so drab. But now that I'm like right next to the window, I feel like this is like ideal. So it'll probably be like this more often, but I'll probably move some things. That TV right there gets a lot of glare now because it's across from the window. So I can't really play like during the day. But it's not too bad. I don't mind sacrificing it. And then right here I have the PS3, Xbox 360, and then like a actual monitor that I use for an H1080p monitor, and then another CRT,
Another CRT.
All these CRTs, yeah. Thinking of sending you one for your birthday.
I'm gonna just steal one next time when I come down. I'm gonna just grab it and just be like, all right. They're gonna be like, sir, you can't bring that on the plane. I'm gonna be like, no, you don't understand. I flew for this CRT.
You don't get it. Yeah, it's.
I must get this back. Yeah, no, I think that's actually very interesting because I was the same way as a kid. I would always move, and I think that's why, like, even now, as you can see, I don't have a lot of decorations up. I've just never been, like, even like putting tacks in the wall. I've been like, nah, no tacks. You gotta use put the tape and put it in the back, or like do a command strip or something of the sorts like that.
Right.
Like, I've always been like, nah, nothing permanent, nothing that you can't like easily, like all this. I can just take all these games off, pick up the shelf. It's not that heavy, and then move it to wherever I gotta go. But like
that's so interesting. Yeah, because we sort of diverged in that way. Also, I think, like, Okay, so like Elise, she grew up in the same house for her entire life, right?
Same situation.
You know, and you know, she has a lot of memorabilia or things that her parents have kept for her or collected for her. You know, she has a lot of that stuff. Because we moved so much, because I moved so much when I was younger, I didn't really get to keep, like, things were always lost. You know, I never get to keep like a rolling collection of things. And once I got my own place, I started to accumulate a lot of things, you know? And I think because like I moved around so much, and because I never really had pieces that were like, oh, this is from my childhood. I had to like rebuy everything. And so I think that is that's what sort of makes me a collector, is the fact that I'm trying to like collect these things, build a memory with them. A lot of them have nostalgic value. Yeah. And it's like rebuilding a sort of memento, like a museum of the things that, like, you know, brought me comfort or something, you know, which is, you know, I guess part of, you know, the reason we do the podcast is to play these old games, things that we couldn't when we were younger because we didn't have the funds or, you know, whatever. And now we can play whatever and do whatever. Yeah, so it's very sentimental, really. Like, I look at this room sometimes and I'm like, this is very sentimental, even though it looks very media obsessed. I always think about that. I'm like, damn, this shit looks like crazy.
I feel the same way when like people like, because this is the first thing you see when you come upstairs. So people walk upstairs and like, they're like, oh my God, your house. Wow, look at your new house. And they're like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah. That's all my, because in the old house, it was like, everybody was downstairs or like in the sunroom. Like if you came upstairs, it was weird. You know what I mean? It was like, why are you coming upstairs? So
yeah, it's a more private space, right?
Yeah, like it was segregated from the rest of the house of like chill out. So like now that this has become like kind of our chill out spot, because like you said, like the windows, like since I don't have blinds yet, there's a glare on the TV downstairs. So it's like really annoying to watch unless it's like late at night and we don't have blinds. So it's like I'm not about to sit here in my underwear, so I'm gonna sit up here in my underwear with my more temporary blinds. Yeah. And I was the same way, girl. Like as soon as I moved out, I moved into this house with me, my brother-in-law, my brother who was my old roommate, and like 3 of our friends. It was like 5 of us in this house. And the very first things I did was Devin's her father had like this old CRT, like a Sony Triton that he was about to throw away. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, nah, give me that. And I got that. And then right after that, I went to MacFest, got me a GameCube. And I was like, oh yeah, I got to get all the games. I got Sonic and Wind Waker first. And then I got all the rest of the games. And it just built from there until this smorge blob of fuckery over here.
Yeah. It's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, but even now, like it is very sentimental to have physically, especially in this very digital age, to just have physically everything that you ever wanted to like use. Like vinyls is really fun because it's sentimental to go like, oh, those are a good set of songs. Okay, now let's pull the vinyl off and flip it over.
Yeah.
And listen to the rest of it. It's intentional, everything that you have to do. Like even wet, like pulling wet out and being like, oh wow, like look at this instruction booklet. I haven't seen this in forever. Like it's so fun to sit down and actually enjoy everything that you have without it just being like, oh, let's just turn on this movie. I don't fucking know. Whatever. Question for you. Because I know you're a movie buff. I don't mean to go off topic, but how often do you, on streaming sites, do like trailer watching more than like movie watching?
Oh, like you mean like if I'm like on Prime Video or Netflix and I'm like looking for something and I'm watching the trailers? Yeah. Instead of how often? Well, for one, I don't really watch too many streaming movies, but every once in a while, especially around the holidays, me and Elise would maybe be looking for like a horror movie. Or we'll be looking for like a Christmas movie or whatever, and we watch way more trailers than we do actually pick anything. Yeah, because it's kind of funny just to see. And then Prime Video actually doesn't have trailers for everything. What they'll just do is get like a slice, like a minute and a half like clip, no context of the movie, and then just use it as the trailer. And you're like, what is it about? Still, I don't get it.
Then you just lock it. There's a movie where like with Owen Wilson where like I've seen that trailer like 15 times on Netflix where it was the same situation. They don't show a trailer. They just show like a 1 minute clip of like some people getting murdered on the bottom floor, and Owen Wilson runs in and he's like, we gotta go right now. We gotta leave. And every time I'm like, oh shit, you want to watch this?
Yeah.
Let's go to the next movie.
I wonder what it is. An Owen Wilson. Is it a Netflix like movie or? Yeah.
No, it's not a Netflix movie. It's like some old ass movie. I think Tom Holland is the kid in that movie. I think.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wait. I think is that movie, that tsunami movie or something? Like
it might be that tsunami movie.
I don't know. Maybe think of something else. But to bring it back to physical media and collecting it, I think it is a bit sad when you think about the sort of different attitudes that are, being introduced or being more prevalent in our world now, where I think younger people just don't really care about these things, or they're very like they grew up in an age where like digital content, everything is digital, and it's so disposable, and like whatever, it's just like it's not as meaningful because they really grew up in a media saturated environment, whereas we were sort of growing up where games weren't quite there yet. Movies were getting there, where there was just too many movies and all this. And now there's, it's just like a media saturation where there's just so much of games and movies and music that it's just like a lot of it feels disposable in a way,
like everything is, I don't want to say, because I it feels very like cliche to say and also hypocritical because of the giant collection rooms that we are recording this in, but like overconsumption of media does kind of affect you a little bit in a way to where after a certain point you kind of like nothing sticks with you. Not to say that everything should stick with you, but there's certain things where like an album, like for example, what's the last album that came out? I don't fucking know. You can put any artist in this situation. It comes out on a Friday. You listen to it on Friday. You go, damn, that was a good ass album.
Right.
And then that's it. It's not like back in the day where you had to watch 106 in Park or TLR or like MTV and like watch the music videos, watch the rollout, listen to the media tour and all that stuff that builds up to the album, watching performances at award shows and stuff like that. Like they still have that.
Yeah.
But when's the last time you've watched the VMAs? When's the last time that you've cared for like all those TV shows? Like everybody, like I think Severance is like one of the only shows, or like when Game of Thrones and stuff like that HBO show, but like people don't watch shows weekly anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's also like a loss of community because there's so much content, music, movies, games, whatever, that everybody is sort of doing their own thing, and you're losing a sense of community, at least maybe physical community, because I guess like internet communities are still a thing, but in-person communities where it's like I can meet up with friends and I'm like, dude, did you see this Netflix show, or did you watch this movie? And they're like, no, I've never heard of any of that. And it's like, that's crazy because they're new and they're out, and like, and then they mention shit to me. Yeah. And they mention like, oh yeah, like I watched this show on Apple TV. And I'm just like, I don't even have access to that. Like I play games on whatever on PC, and there's some games that aren't available on PS5. I'm just like, oh, okay, well I guess I have no clue what you're talking about, or just music, right? Like the SoundCloud artist or this fucking, it's just insane. Like
there's
there's so much. So you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, like there's people that like me, for example. I don't really watch TV like that, other than like I'll have like my one show. Like right now, I'm watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Severance. That's it. Don't ask me about Buffy. I've only watched the first
I
episode.
was gonna say, I'm like, Buffy, interesting.
It's for research for Wet, because the actress that plays Ruby in Wet is from Buffy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like that was like the big thing about it. That's why I wanted to watch it a little bit more. But
does Dev like Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
She's watching One Piece right now. She's locked in. She's post time skip. She just finished Fishman Island, so
Fishman Island.
She's in there. She's in there deep. So
Fishman Island's a bit rough, but yeah.
yeah. That's why
I think I stopped after Fishman Island.
That's very understandable, because even rewatching it with her, like I don't really watch it with her, but I'll just see it on in the background, and I'll be like, oh, I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's kind of like the last, like, she's been on that for like a month, and I'm like, damn, I'm still on Fishman? Like, fuck, man.
It's a bit of a long arc, I think, from what I remember. It felt like it took forever, and there's so much excitement after the post time skip, and then you get into this arc, and I'm just like, this is what we're doing right now. Okay. But obviously that's more of a critique on One Piece, but
yeah, it's just so easy. Like for me, YouTube is my TV. Like,
yes, I was gonna say,
like watching deep dives. Like every night, I'm like, what boring ass video am I about to watch to fall asleep to right now?
Yes.
Like those like videos where like some guy like talks about a game for 8 hours, and just goes over everything. I'll be watching those like in like chunks. Like I'll just watch it, fall asleep, and then go to where I remember before I fall asleep the next time, and then just keep watching it. Like that's all I do. And like for some people, they'll never experience none of that, and it's just weird because everything used to be.
There was like a consciousness that we all shared, like a media consciousness, a cultural consciousness that we all sort of like were tuned into. When I made a joke and it referred to like Seinfeld, most people knew, or like The Simpsons, or like most people sort of knew, but like now everything's so much more fractured, which has its pros and cons, but I think it leaves, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's more of an issue of accessibility, and there's like something I was thinking about was Zack Snyder's Netflix movie, Rebel Moon, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yes.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it. Me either.
Me neither.
No. But that's one of those things, right? Like you could imagine 10 years, 15 years ago, like that being like the next big thing on TV or on, just as a cultural zeitgeist type thing.
Oh, bro, we need to get the gang together. We're going to go see Rebel Moon in the theaters, bro.
Yeah, I can't wait for part 2. And it's just like, now that's relegated to it. I mean, sure, I've heard that it's not good and, like there's all these issues with it. But the fact that someone
I still would have paid money to go to see that in the movies.
Right, exactly. Back, 10 years or 15 years ago, we would have absolutely, 20 years ago, well, 2025, I'd say about 10 years ago, we would have went and saw that.
20 years ago? 300 came out like 07, right? 05?
Yeah, around there. Yeah, so about 20 years ago,
This is peak Zack Snyder. I would be like, we gotta go.
Yeah, Watchmen and all that. Exactly. And now something like that can come out and like a fart in the wind and just like, whatever.
The
and
Russo brothers are about to drop a movie with Chris Pratt. I don't give a shit. It's on Netflix. I don't pay for Netflix no more.
You hear something about it, people are just like burnt out, like, oh, whatever, it's just really fascinating, this time that we live in, where we experienced where media was less saturated, and we're experiencing now where we're over inundated by media just in general. And we're just like, fuck, dude. Like, I mean, sometimes you mention shit to me and I feel like I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm just like, fuck, and I try to, like, one of the things, we'll talk about, well, fuck it, we could just talk about it in general, but like, we talked about goals that we might have for like the year, right? And I was like, maybe I should try and keep up with some new anime. Like, I just recently watched, I was telling you that I watched Dandadan, and that's like one of like the newer hot anime, that's sort of out that, people are loving. But, like the exposure to new stuff, and then you're a little jaded too when you see it, because you've seen so much. You're just like, it's not even that great, man. Like, like
we'll talk about this later.
It's like
I get exactly what you mean.
You know, which I understand because like there are things that I'm like, this is amazing, and then I show somebody, and then they're like, you know, they've seen so much shit already, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, it's all right, man. You know,
It's
it's I think one of the main ones is like Samurai Champloo, like the way you reacted towards towards that show, and I was like, I guess this is it. This is where our friendship ends.
Okay, hold on. Before we, because listen, we're about to play this fucking game for the podcast. So right now, out of 5 stars, what are you rating Samurai Champloo as a whole?
As a show?
As a show.
Okay. Out of 5 stars, I would give it a 4 out of 5. I would give it a strong 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
But you know what? 3.5.
Okay, that's not bad. And I would say that's fair. That's fair.
It's a good show. It's stylish. It's got some. For me, what it is that I get it for a 26 episode anime or whatever. Isn't it like 25, 26 episodes? Something like that.
Yeah.
I get it, and that's back when everything was episodic, so it feels episodic. But sometimes, like I feel like Samurai Champloo would be a good anime if it was 12 episodes. Because every time I rewatch Samurai Champloo, I'm always like, from like episode 5 to 12, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then the rest of the show, I'm like, oh, okay, we're reining it back in. Okay, cool. But like, for a large chunk of it, it just feels like slice of life watching 3 hooligans do whatever the fuck they want to do, which isn't bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really can't. I guess I've come to accept that it's episodic, and I don't quite mind it. I think when I first watched it too, I did wish that there was more of a line being thread between all the episodes. I mean, the main driving point, right, is that Fu is trying to find, a samurai that smells of sunflowers. And that's like the main thing. So they're going from town to town. They get some clues, and they get like, they don't really like each other that much. So they get wrapped up in different things. They go off and do. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of great characterization of them, and it's less about the plot and more about the characters themselves. Like it's more about the journey than the destination.
Exactly.
And so I think that's, I do kind of like
it's a vibe show.
It really is. Show. Like you're not watching it like, oh, dude, it's great, and then like it dovetails, like it just sort of does its own thing. And I think that's what Cowboy Bebop does as well, where it's like very episodic, but then like there's like maybe like out of the 26 episodes, there's like 6 episodes that drive or push the story forward in some way, or but yeah, it's very serialized. It's kind of just like, this is what's going on although some episodes do have 2 parts, so there's that. But yeah, it's very. And you're saying that like it's, was it of its time, the serialization? Was that like a thing that happened often, like where there was anime that were more episodic, or is that just like a style that Shinichiro Watanabe just chose to go with? Like I don't know that there was more or less episodic anime back then. Would you say that?
I'm trying to think of all of the popular anime that I watched during that time, like Panty and Stocking, XL Saga.
Yeah.
Ninja Nonsense. That's a weird cut right there. There's a bunch of like anime that I watched that was just that, where it was just like you get the first episode that like explains the characters, and then maybe you get an episode or 2 where they like add a new character to the bunch, and then it's just a cartoon. You know what I'm saying? Like they just do bullshit for like a whole episode, and that's the whole plot of the anime. So I don't know. I think
I'm
there was
thinking in my mind. Yeah, I'm thinking in my mind like Teen Titans. Even though
exactly. Teen Titans is episodic, but it's still an overarching story of the sorts. Like
exactly.
That. Like in that same flow. Cause what other I just had the show in my head and it just escaped me immediately. But in general sense, nowadays when it comes to anime, every anime has a manga or a light novel or something of the sorts like that, to where it can't just be this 24 episode or 12 episode cure. It's got to be, now it's Overlord season 5 and the Overlord spinoff and the mixtapes and the, it's it's too
That's such
much.
a great point that you're bringing up, because Samurai Champloo, well, I think anything that Shinichiro Watanabe has done has just been like not based off anything. And so I think that's what makes it kind of special too, is that it's not based off a manga or anything. It's just like an original piece, just like Cowboy Bebop, just like some of his other stuff that I can't fucking remember right now. Space Dandy.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of like his newer things. I haven't really gotten a chance to see them, but and yeah, Space Dandy wasn't that great. Space Dandy was too episodic for me, and I think it lacked a bit of emotional core to it. But
I didn't realize that he did Terror and Resonance, and
yes, Terror and Resonance.
Terror and Resonance was a really good one. I liked watching that one.
Yeah, Terror and Resonance. And I think he has a newer one out too that I was like, oh shit, might need to watch that. And I'd be willing to rewatch Terror in Resonance as well. But yeah, I think when I found out that you didn't like it that much, because so much people had hyped it up so much from a certain point of view, and then you were like, yeah, it's all right. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense that you wouldn't like feel like the impact of it, because at the time when it came out, it was special. It felt, there was a flavor and a texture to it that was unique.
But you got to remember, when I watched Samurai Champloo, I was in 4th grade.
Oh, wait, I thought you watched it more recently. Didn't we talk about how
Well, yeah, I've been watching it like recently, and I've watched it a couple more times, like growing up or watching it with friends and stuff like that. But like the very first time I watched it was in 4th grade through VHS recordings at a friend's house that he would record. He would record all of Toonami at night, and then he would watch it or the VHS in the morning. And I would go over his house and we would play Pokemon while that would be playing. So I watched all the episodes out of context, like out of order, until I rewatched it a couple more times. But it's one of those shows that it's like, I can see how this can be somebody's personality. You know what I mean? just like Jet Set Radio. I listen to Nujabes. I love Nujabes. I listen to them like before and after the show.
Yeah.
Like my dad was listening to Nujabes and stuff like that. He was putting me on. So I can understand the stylings of it, but it's okay. You know what I mean? It's just anime with hip hop. I mean, it's just samurais with hip hop. Like, okay.
There's I guess there's something about that show that like really transcends the fact that it's just samurai and hip hop. There's always been something about that show that really speaks to like,
it's the vibes.
Like being a black nerd. There's something about that show that really brings out like yeah, that's kind of how I feel about things. Like, and it's hard to articulate. There's like a feeling about it, like the mixing. Okay, I think in the past we've talked about like, a lot of niggas like anime and like they're really into Japanese culture for some reason, and we've come up with theories for why that might be. But like, I think Samurai Champloo really was like, yo, we get you. Like, here's Japanese history mixed with hip hop for some reason. Like,
you know what it is?
And it blends so beautifully. What?
Now that you mention this, Afro Samurai is this for me.
Yeah, and I think Afro Samurai is the more it's
the more direct, like
niggas. Yeah, exactly. Like, it feels more like for those of you that aren't quite getting it, here's Afro Samurai.
Sorry, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's so good though, both of them, because Samurai or Afro Samurai has like music by
by RZA, right?
Yeah, doesn't it? And just doesn't it have some of
Samuel Jackson as the voice? It's got like the niggas and nigga, like it's got a little bit more to it than just like chill. Not to say Samurai Champloo is bad or anything like that. I don't want that implication to come out like that, because even now, every time I watch it, I do peep something more differently. Like now, like I've been looking at the color grading of the show. And how everything looks, the colors that they chose for each scene, and it's a lot of oranges. and
Yeah, depending
reds,
on the
dark
episode.
reds.
Yeah.
I really like
Yeah.
that. It brings out it's a style that a lot of anime could follow nowadays, where everything feels very corporate. It's back in the
Like
day when an anime,
like audience tested or something. Yeah.
right? Like they was like, okay, we know this audience likes Sakuga action moments, so let's add the Sakuga act. Like it doesn't feel personalized in the sense. Whereas Jujutsu Kaisen towards the later half of the second season did feel very stylized in how it was approaching its animation. But a lot of anime, at least the recent animes that I've watched, have always felt very like, cause I used to be like Community in that, but I used to watch every anime
Every season.
I used to watch every season, and after a while, you start to realize like this is very formulaic. And
yes, and there's a lot of trash
I feel like,
too.
Yes, a lot of trash. And Samurai Champloo is from a time where every anime, I don't want to say every anime, but the anime at least that we got in America felt very intentional. I keep using intentional. Well, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say for Samurai Champloo, but it's directed masterfully.
Yeah,
and you can tell that that's his style, and that's the exact style that he wanted with Samurai Champloo, and it makes it timeless.
Yes, they're really, and I think just the characters of Jean and Mugen, I love their contrast. Like I love the reserved, honorable Jean and the, scruffy, struggling, desperate, like gruffness of, like, I just like and then I like that Fu sort of plays like the young in between, that they both have like a need to like fulfill their duty to her, so they stick around. Like there's just something about those character dynamics that I really, really love. And then the bittersweet ending, right? Of like them saying, "All right, well, our time's done." Yeah, like it's not even like played up in like a dramatic way too. It's just like we've been through all this together, and maybe I like the idea of like maybe that's how shit was too. There's like a simplicity of just like them roaming around trying to do something for food. What are we going to do for food? And I don't know. There's some jobs. I can sell my sword. Well, don't like, there's just like all this shit that they get into that feels so like, I don't know. I've never seen it since. I've watched a lot of anime. I just haven't seen anything that has been able to capture that, like that spirit sense. But yeah, it's just a great ass show, I don't know.
Great ass show.
I don't know why we're talking about Samurai Champloo. Like this is the Samurai Champloo podcast. It's a preview. But yeah, like it was. I don't know. It was good, and I guess like I really thought that you would have been like on board with it, And then when you were like, yeah, 3.5, and I was like,
my heart. You know what it is? The anime that really like molded me as an anime fan was Neremiah Daikon Brothers.
Oh yeah,
that is a show that like has stuck with me to this day for how, because the dub was so good, it's just stuck with me so much with like what they do, and it's a musical. Like that's weird.
That makes sense why you like rhythm games.
Anime. And like that's still never been done. Like I mean, of course they've had animes surrounded by music and they have music numbers, but
yeah,
they go into multiple musical breakdowns in each episode. Like and they're all different. That's cool. Like I've never seen that done before to this day, and I don't know. I just think it's a really good show. I haven't watched it since I was like 14, so I don't know, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you can fucking find a rip of it, a DVD rip or a torrent,
I probably have to. I probably have to
send
find
it
a
to
DVD
me,
rip of it.
I have a Berserker playing in the background here, the 1990 version of it, and I haven't watched it. I just have it playing on the background, but I want to watch it because I'm just like, this looks cool as fuck. As well as some other like random anime that I've like just found on like on Internet Archive. I'm just like, this looks amazing. I need to check this out. I need to watch this.
What I need to do is I need to just get one of those eBay lots of like, hey, bro, here's a box of anime DVDs. Take it and just figure it out from there and just watch it.
Yeah, and back to the physical media thing. I decided I'm like, I just cannot collect anime. Like,
see, that's movies, what I'm saying. I like, I'm just movies,
like,
anime. Like, I will pick up a Blu-ray of a movie I like. I will do that.
Sure,
but
yes, yeah.
But like, anime?
But like old, like yeah, like all the volumes that the anime has. Because I have like, I have like Ramna 1/2, and like Hellsing and Noir and some other random shit that I found and picked up. And I'm like, I have to decide if I'm gonna fucking have all these games or fucking all this anime, because really a lot of anime can just be found on internetarchive.org, and I just put that on a fucking 256 gig USB, plug that into my Blu-ray player that's connected to all these things, as opposed to having all these discs, and it's really just like I would collect all these things, but it is just like a lot of space for a lot of random anime, and there's just so many volumes of it. And I do have a pretty good like an anime Blu-ray collection as well, but I'm just like, I need to stop.
I think about back in the day with like the Boondocks, like season 1, how it came in like that like ultimate foldable, like it was like 5 different folds, and like it was only like 3 episodes. Like even Twin Peaks is the exact same way. Like my Twin Peaks is like one big ass box set, and it's like 10 DVDs, and I'm like, each DVD is like 2 episodes.
Hold on. All right, is it like this?
Yeah, pretty much. Literally just like that, bro. And like, it's so annoying. It's like, bro, I'm not so about ugly. That. I guess it's hard to binge watch when you gotta like, finish this 2 episodes. Let me pull this out, put in the next 2 episodes, and then like nobody's about to do all that, bro.
It's so ugly. Like because it says Twilight Zone, and I was trying to like go in order. And then like I got lost. I'm like, where is season 1, disc 1 in here, or disc 2?
I did the same thing. I accidentally skipped the season 2 because it was like season 1, and then the next disc was season 2, like episode 1, and I fucked up, and I was like, whoa, who are these people? What's going on?
That's exactly what happened. I think I need to just find like a whole different case for it or something, because it's awful. Did you you got the Twin Peaks box set that's like this?
Yeah, it's the exact same case, but just Twin Peaks on the front. Same like way that it's set up and everything too.
So I bought at least the Twin Peaks, complete thing as well. But then they re-released Twin Peaks complete series with the movie and the newest season. They re-released it for like $10 more, so I returned it, and that's coming out February 3rd, tomorrow. So, dude, I was like in shock when I saw like that I paid $60 for I think it's season 1 and 2.
That's actually sickening, because I bought that for season 1 and 2, and then I bought the Twin Peaks, the movie, the sequel season 3 or whatever. I bought that separately. So yeah, and I didn't even know there was a movie. So
yeah, there's a movie, Fire Walk with Me, I think it's called. I don't know where. I haven't seen Twin Peaks, so I'll have to get to that at some point. But I think the movie takes place after season 2, and then it leads into the season 3 or something. I don't know.
But rest in peace, David Lynch.
Yeah, rest in peace, David Lynch. We bought I'm pretty sure it's going to be packaged terribly as well, because it's going to have that extra season and a movie. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be like this nasty plastic.
Fuck.
Yeah. Maybe they're just assuming like, hey, here are all the discs. You put them in something else, so we're just giving you everything. Like, don't use this. Like, throw this away when you're done.
Put this in your binder.
Yeah, exactly. Put it in your fucking big black fucking binder with all your shit. But hold on, let me put this back. Yeah. So that is our diatribe on physical media and what it's like to be us, or as we're complaining about all these things. Let's I don't know. What do you want to talk about next?
Let's go into a fun question.
Okay.
Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah. Yes.
Before we even talk about the Nintendo Switch 2, what is your opinion on Nintendo games and the Nintendo Switch as a console? Because we don't normally talk about Nintendo games.
We don't.
I played R Racing on GameCube and I think Second Sight on GameCube, but we never really have played a GameCube like a Nintendo exclusive game, I say. So like, what is your opinion on Nintendo in that?
I like Nintendo a lot. I can't say that I love it, and I did grow up with like the 64, Super Mario 64, a little bit of, Ocarina of Time, Donkey Kong Country, Mario Kart, Mario Party. I love all those. I think they have really high quality games, but I think ultimately I kind of don't like how much Nintendo sticks to its its cast of characters. Like I get it why they do,
agree.
but I'm like, okay, because you are always sticking to your, your Donkey Kongs, your Marios, your, Princess Peach, Zelda. I'm just like, okay, like I'm kind of over those characters, in some sense. Like I know they're iconic and, and influential and, and they're very great games too, but
And they
I think
will
because
sell consoles.
yeah, and they will, yeah, but because I'm just like over those characters and those worlds sometimes, that PlayStation or Xbox or whatever PC, they just offer newer experience, more adult experiences. Like there's more variation, so the Nintendo ecosystem at large, sometimes I feel like a little, I'm like, maybe there's like a fucking, what's that one game? It's the game where you're like a cop that is like
Astral Chain.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Astral Chain came out on PC, I would play it right now, bro.
Yes.
But I'm not about to play it on Switch. Like
Exactly, yeah. So there's like, there's games that Switch has that are, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was on there. So, and I do love Mario Party. Mario Party's fun. Mario Kart's fun. But I think, I don't know why they just
I've played it for 30 years. I'm good.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's that's kind of how I feel now with like even Pokemon. Like it feels weird to say, but like I've grown out of Pokemon. And at a sense, playing Tears of the Kingdom, I feel like I'm grown out of Zelda a little bit. Because it made I tried to, like, my whole goal when I first started this year, I was like, January 1st, I'm gonna play Ocarina of Time.
Oh, that's right.
I'm gonna play that for the first time. This is gonna be so good. And then I'm playing it and I'm like, I don't give a shit, bro. Like, it feels bad when you play a game, like when you start up a game and you immediately like sit there for like 30 minutes just like bullshitting around in the game instead of like doing something, because you're just like, I don't fucking know.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of my opinion on all of Nintendo in general. It, like you said, I love playing all the games. I love playing a Pokemon. I love playing a Zelda, a Mario Kart, a Mario Party. I think what it is that you know what you're going to get. Like when I get a Zelda game, I know it's probably going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good adventure game. And I play a Pokemon game, I know the formula that I'm going to get. Even a Mario game, even though I've not really played. Like see, here's the thing. And when I keep saying I don't like Mario, it's not because I haven't played them. It's because I've always like been at somebody's house or played them somewhere, and I've been like, oh yeah, I like jumping around. That was pretty cool. But like, that's every game.
Yeah.
And I know there's some people that have Nintendo as their personality that are going to leech out at us and be like, well, actually, in Galaxy. Or whatever the fuck. But I don't know. I just don't really have high hopes for this system, for the Switch 2. I feel like.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I feel differently in that regard.
Like I have a weird fear that this is going to be a Wii U situation to where they're going to have Switches and Switch 2s, and some mom at Costco is going to see the Switch and just grab it thinking it was the Switch 2.
Right.
And then their kid's going to be disappointed like, Mom, you bought the old console. What the fuck?
Yeah. I thought really heavily about the name Nintendo Switch 2. And, I was a proponent of calling it the Nintendo Super Switch because I feel like in some way that honors their legacy. But then I was thinking about how the Switch is like it's really like a new thing, right? Entirely. Like its form factor and all that, its ability to do what it does. And then I thought about PlayStation, and then PlayStation 2, and then PlayStation 3, and I'm like, okay, so if they're gonna go for like a Switch 2, Switch 3, Switch 4, then fine. You know, I think we'll just get used to that. But yeah, at first the Nintendo Switch 2 name didn't work, and then I thought about the visuals of it, how different it is. The PS1 to the PS2 visuals, very, very different. Art, very different design wise, right? Gray, flat box versus a dark, moody black.
Every PlayStation's kind of different. Even the PS3, where it's like
glossy. Yeah, it's like a grill, a George Foreman grill.
The floor is flat. The 5 is disgustingly ugly.
The 5 is gaudy and wanting all your attention. I think
it takes up all your space.
I think the Switch 2 just doesn't, like, I was very unimpressed by how it looked visually. I felt like, I thought it was going to be like Nintendo Switch Pro. And then they're like, it's 2. And I'm like, oh,
this is the next one.
Yeah. So I kind of felt very mixed about it. And then they were like, well, it's going to play most Switch games. I'm like, most? What do you mean most?
I think the only games it won't play are like Labo. You know what I mean? Like those weird games that they were making, like Mario Kart with the augmented reality or whatever the fuck.
True.
I hope those will be the games.
I hope they get performance boosts. That's all I'm hoping for. You know, that if I can plug in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3
and it not lag when you go in fucking Wakanda. Oh my god.
And if it can just run at a smooth 60, I don't care if it's 1080. That's fine. It's a small screen.
Hyrule Warriors being finally playable.
Yes.
Oh man.
You know, that would be nice if these games get some sort of boost in But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about it? You're saying that you think it's gonna be a Wii U situation.
I'm gonna buy it, but I just need to see what games they're gonna announce with it, because I assume Metroid Prime 4.
Right.
They'll probably have Mario Kart at release. That'll probably be their 2 games. Mario Kart will probably be like their game, like their thing, where it's like, all right, now go to Mario Kart 9, because everybody's gonna be like, I need to play a new Mario Kart.
I'm very confused about this Mario Kart 8. The amount of it got such a huge push, because then it got re-released again for the Switch, because it was originally
a Wii U.
Wii U game, right? Yeah. And then it came out as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And then it was like the best-selling game on the Switch. I don't know if it's because there was no other games, but I'm like...
It's because nobody played the Wii U, that's why. See, I played Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. I was one of those weirdos playing Warriors Orochi 3 on Wii U and shit. So I get it. I already played Mario Kart. That's why now I'm just like, it's just Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are you gonna... And then you kind of talked about, you know, it being like a Chorokyu-esque sort of thing that they might do, which would fucking be amazing.
That's my theory. That would make me be like, okay, I gotta go out and get a Switch and Mario Kart.
Right. Where do you think they're gonna go? And maybe, where do you think they're gonna go with the Smash Bros. Franchise after Ultimate? Because there's gonna have to be a new one, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's not gonna be a live service title. They're gonna fucking create a new one for the Switch 2 with...
Yeah, because Ultimate was technically the Wii U version, but just the Ultimate Wii U version, essentially.
Yeah, and then they added every possible character, you know, whatever its roster is, 49 or something like that. How much is it? 50 characters? I don't know.
It's like 100.
Oh, is it? Oh, whoops.
I don't know. It just feels like 100 every time I look at the screen. I'm like, damn, Sora's in here?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I think
Sonic?
I think there's only 2 options with Smash. Is that you let somebody else handle it and just be like, Sakurai, don't worry about it. We'll keep it pushing. And you just continue the Ultimate idea, and you got to keep all these characters, and then just add 10 more or whatever like that. And you just revamp a couple characters based on new appearances or whatever the fuck, and keep it moving. Or you switch it all the way up. Change it from a platform fighter entirely. Make it a traditional tag fighter like Marvel vs. Capcom, but Smash Brothers. That's how you
Pixel?
get people. Ooh, that's how you get. like some Arc System Works, just make it like,
Yeah.
oh, that's how you can get people to be like, hold on, I might hop in. But you have the thing with Smash Brothers is that my mom can play Smash Brothers.
It's genius because it's so accessible.
Yeah,
it's so
and
simple.
if you make it into a traditional fighter, or
or
if you change the way that it is any type of way, you're going to alienate it. And especially now, like you've kind of pigeonholed yourself with Ultimate to where it's like you either keep it going or you do a reboot and gut like the whole roster, but make everybody like expansive. But I mean, Rivals of Aether 2 is a good example. They added like there's like ledge specials.
Wait, what did you just say?
Rivals of Aether 2. It's one of those Smash platform fighters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They added like
I don't know what.
They have like neutral
so it's like a clone.
Yeah, they have like a whole bunch of like different like moves that like are different that I was like, that's actually kind of crazy. Like there's like I know there's ledge specials, and then there's like I don't fucking know. There's just a bunch of different like it's like one of those ones like if you're like one of those people that are like your neutral arrow and Shulk does such and such and such.
Yeah. Your up tilt. Yeah.
Yeah, ledge special, grab specials, get up specials. Like who's doing all that? Like but I mean somebody will like it. What's the one game that would make you be like I have to get a Switch 2 right now? It could be new, it could be old, it could be like a new game from a certain franchise.
I guess that's why I sort of mentioned Smash Bros. That I've always loved me some Smash Bros. But a new title that would make me like, okay, I need to get this day one.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, wait, what am I thinking? Do I have to think about Nintendo exclusives? Do I have to think about
well, it most likely would be a Nintendo exclusive because I'm
like
not
a Nintendo property
like,
or IP.
Yeah, they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, Dynasty Warriors 10 is on the fucking, Samurai Warriors 6 exclusive to Switch.
I don't know. They'd have to surprise me. I think the only thing that would make me want to do it day one is probably Smash, but I can't think of a single, at least Nintendo IP. Oh, well, okay. So if we're talking about like anything, then yeah, like if there was like a new fucking whatever, Gadget Racers or whatever they decide to, yeah. But I mean, they're not going to do that against Mario Kart. They're not going to fucking. Of
course.
But it'd be cool if they. I don't know. I don't like. They had to say like. I wouldn't know that I wanted a game like Astral Chain until it was announced, and then I'm like,
I need an Astral Chain. Like Ninja Gaiden, same thing. I didn't know I needed Ninja Gaiden 4 until Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced, and I was like, oh, I need this. Thanks. I didn't know I needed this, but thank you. I have a weird crackpot theory. Here we go.
Go.
A 3D Donkey Kong game.
Like Donkey Kong Country?
Yeah, but like imagine that in a 3D space, like you're swinging from like vines or whatever the fuck, or in like
that's what Donkey Kong Country is.
No, but not like in a 2D plane, in like a full 3D space. Like
no, that's what. Oh wait, is it not called Donkey Kong Country? Hold on.
Yeah, like Donkey Kong 64, but like
yeah. I'm sorry. This whole time, every time that I mentioned Donkey Kong in this episode, I meant Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, like imagine Donkey Kong 64, but like modern,
like a new,
right,
like a Donkey Kong like Odyssey.
Right. Yeah, like or a new Star Fox, like Star Fox Adventure or something, where you're on foot and then you have your space stations and you can like do all this stuff to make Falco a character action guy and he can do like Virgil slashes or some shit. I don't know.
Right.
Metroid Other M2.
other M.
other M. I don't know. I think the Switch is one of those things to where isolated in the future, we're going to look back and we're going to be like, wow, that has a bunch of good stuff. Like it's going to get a new Pikmin. It's going to get a new Mario. It's going to get a new Zelda. It's going to get a new Pokemon. It's going to get a new Yoshi. It's going to get a new everything that Nintendo.
I wonder if it'll get like a Bayonetta.
It's probably going to get a new Bayonetta. It's probably going to get Bayonetta 4. They own Bayonetta, so it's probably going to be Bayonetta 4.
Vanquish 2.
Oof. I'd cry if Vanquish. Oh man.
Well, we don't really know the specs of the Switch 2 yet, right? We don't know like what's the comparison. Is it going to be as strong as a PS4 basically? So we're gonna get like 1080p visuals, 30 to 60 frame. Like
I predict a lot of ports.
Yes.
A lot of ports of shit that already wasn't ported over. That's what we're gonna get.
It'd be nice, to get like a. What's that rain code? I think it's called. It's like a RPG. The visual style is like that of Danganronpa. It's like Rain Code Plus or something, and you're like a detective. And it's like you don't remember this? This came out. I think it's called. Look up Rain Code. I think that's what it's called.
Rain Code. Oh yes. Yeah. I've seen this. Isn't this like a free to play game?
Oh wait, maybe I'm not thinking about something different. It's like,
but
purple.
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's purple with like
purple.
The Danganronpa people.
Yeah. No, it's not free to play, but I think I just realized that it's also was released on multiple platforms after like a year of exclusivity to the Switch. But yeah, I don't know. There's nothing really that I can think of that. So here's one thing. I know that Nintendo has been really embracing the maturity in their games for some reason. There's been this whole thing in the past couple of years where like PlayStation has been censoring more, and Nintendo for some reason has been like embracing more like adult oriented games. And so I'm curious if they'll keep that going. Like, will we see like a Onichibara or a Senran Kagura on the Switch, or some new iteration of some other game that's like crazy and you're just like, what? This is on the fucking Switch? This is wild.
I'm trying to think of the bloodiest game that they can reveal in April. Because Ninja Gaiden 4 would be the only game I could think of where I'd be like, Nintendo? What the fuck? Why are you announcing Ninja Gaiden 4? But Xbox already stole that thunder, so I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things where like with Nintendo, I'm not really high on everything. Like I didn't like the last Zelda. I didn't like the last Pokemon. I don't like Mario if it's not a spinoff. So it's like you would have to come April when they do their showcase explaining the features of the Switch and why it's different from the Switch 2.
Right.
And the games they announced to go along with that during that release and when it's released and stuff like that. It's going to play a big factor. But right now, it's just like, okay, Mario Kart 9. I mean, I guess, of course, if I buy a Switch, I'm going to buy Mario Kart 9. Everybody's going to buy Mario Kart. It's like the one thing. It's like Mario Kart, Mario Party. You're going to buy those two.
If you go over to someone's house and they have a Switch and they don't have Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart 8, it's like, what are you doing with this machine, then?
Exactly. You're going to have Mario, Pokemon, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Smash. Though you're going to at least have those.
You're going to have those three because it's like it's like the Switch is like for
the only reason to have a Switch is for those three games.
Almost, yeah. Oh fuck, that's crazy to say, but I mean it's kind of true because I mean with the Steam Deck and like the rise of emulation and the rise of like these really nice portable handhelds, these PC handhelds, the Switch's novelty is wearing off. And I actually think that I think PlayStation, Sony is getting into portables again because of the PlayStation Portal having such great reception. So we might see a new renaissance. And I think Xbox too was saying that they're going to move to portals or to portable.
Console,
yeah. So I don't know. We might see like a renaissance of like handheld, like PSP, type DS, Nintendo, like that. We might see a new renaissance of that.
But which I think also it would be cool. But I think that I think what it is that the novelty of the Switch has been co-opted so much that like I have a Steam Deck right here.
That's what I'm saying.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can play all my I played Joan of Arc on there. Like I've played all my games mostly all last year on the Steam Deck, like pretty much exclusively, and it worked like a charm. Even games with mouse and keyboard support, like it felt good. There's the Asus Rogue. There's
the ROG Ally.
Like I feel like Xbox and PlayStation are probably going to copy Nintendo, just like they did with Kinect and PlayStation Move, and they're going to make their own little dedicated handheld device and be like, these games are Xbox, I don't fucking know, Odyssey approved or whatever the fuck the name of it is. And this is PlayStation Portal PSP or whatever, PS3, whatever the fuck it's called. These are approved. You can only play these games on here. And these are some exclusive titles for it, blah, blah, blah. But here's your things. And we have our Game Pass, we have our PlayStation Plus on here. Do your thing. Just to combat with it. Because, I mean, if I could play my PlayStation games on the go without having to, you know, because of course it's going to be probably a digital only thing. I can't probably have a back thing and put a Blu-ray disc in the back of it or something.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But I mean, for those people that do have large digital libraries or Game Pass or PlayStation, what is it, the highest tier, Ultimate or Extra or whatever the fuck it's called?
Yeah, is it
Premiere?
Premium.
Yeah, Premium. Yeah, where it comes with the PS1, PSP, and
library,
PS2, all those libraries. Like if they expand all those, I can see a lot of people being like, "I will take this for a legal stance to play Suikoden 4." Or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the PlayStation Portal, I'm not a huge fan of streaming, you know, console streaming, which is what the PS Portal does. And I only say that just because, like, I do feel limited and I do feel the lag sometimes, you know, and I think I get used to it and I'm able to adapt. But playing like Dynasty Warriors Origins on the PlayStation Portal, and there's like that slight delay, you know, it does kind of make the game feel a little different. I would like there to be hardware specifically for the portable consoles that they create. I don't always want to stream. I want to, like, let me just buy something and have it on the the portable console, like on that hard drive, so I can run it off there natively as opposed to streaming it. I don't know if they're going to double down on streaming. I don't know that streaming will just, because everybody's streaming experience is so different, you know? And there's all these tricks that you can do too. Like, one of the things I've been doing that I read is, like, if you go into your PS5 settings and change the native output, the like native video output, to 1080, then it's like not having to downscale, and so you're getting like a more direct, focused signal. And then there's some other things too that you can do, but it's, you know,
it's too much.
It's cool. Like I love it, but it's just not great for every type of game.
Yeah, because I did the same thing with the Steam Deck. There's a way that you can connect the PlayStation 5 and stream from there. And I played a lot of Metaphor on my Steam Deck like that. And like you said, you can feel the lag of like, but I didn't know if that was like but like you said, it's obviously not just a me problem, because I felt the same way where I was like, even like those minimal, like moving up a character and it takes like that 0.2 seconds to move them up, you can feel that. And I don't like that at all. So, I mean, if they can iron that out or make it native to the console, then the Switch 2 might not sell as much as people think it will. Because, of course, you know, if you have a Mario Kart, all that stuff, it's going to sell a couple million. You know what I mean?
Yes. But will it be as successful? Because it's coming out in a very different time now, like you're saying.
Yeah, because if you drop it and it's $400, that's a Steam Deck. Or... you know what I mean? Or an Asus Rogue or whatever the hell. And you can emulate Switch games on those consoles, and they run better than the Switch on those consoles. I was playing Smash Ultimate with all the DLCs on my Steam Deck with 4 players, and it ran like a charm. So, I mean,
that's crazy.
That's all I'm going to say. I ripped my own copy of Smash Ultimate. Nintendo, don't kill me. Please, don't send them at me.
It's very it's challenging. So we're gonna see what the demand is like. It's gonna have to do something. Like, obviously we don't know all the feature sets. It's gonna, you know, when they do like a showcase of all the things that it can do, Nintendo might be a little behind the curve and maybe might be misunderstanding, you know, some of the wants and needs of like gamers. But I don't know. We'll see. You know, it'll for sure still sell, but how much that remains to be seen. So,
you know what would make it sell is if they come out with their own like Xbox Game Pass competitor, like how they're trying to do with this Nintendo Switch Online. But if with the Nintendo Switch 2, if they just announce like, bam, here we go, we added 50 Game Boy, 50 Wii, GameCube. Like we've added
Yes.
a whole catalog collection from every Nintendo and retro Genesis, because I think they have Genesis and all those other consoles.
Yes, they do. Too. Yeah,
which so is if weird. They were just like, we're just adding like 1,000 games to this service right now for Nintendo Switch Online. You can play them right now, and then once you get the Switch 2, you can play them on there. We'll have some extended like Wii U or something games or some Switch games exclusive to that you can like download if you have the servers or something like that. I can see some people being like, okay, cool, bet. Because that would make me pay for Nintendo Switch Online, and I'd probably be more apropos to play a Switch 2, because paying like $60 for a game that's like 10 years old now? No.
Right. Yeah. That's true. I think that'll be a smart move for them to add. It gives more value to their what is it called? Nintendo Switch or
Nintendo Switch Online or Nintendo Online or something?
Yeah, like Nintendo that. Online or something like that. So it'll give more value to that, and I don't know. I'm still not a huge fan of streaming all that stuff, but it's up to whoever's playing it. I think it just adds more value.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Let's do it.
So let me first apologize to W Omega Force because I was extremely skeptical of all the decisions that they were making. And while I still paid for the game day one, so so I contributed to its success, we'll say. But I was very, very skeptical of what they were doing, a lot of their choices. Still am. But I think overall, I was so impressed that it feels like they're learning and growing a little bit, and it feels like they're finally embracing a lot of, I don't know what engine they used, but they're like really embracing technology and just pushing the boundaries, because what they did here is we play a lot of games, and there's so many few games that really give you a sense of like, oh wow, like that was incredible, or like, damn. So a Warriors game never really made me feel that way, as much as we love them and how addicting they are and fun to play. But like Dynasty Warriors Origins, for the first time in the series, made me feel like I was on an actual battlefield, and it felt like I felt the scale of it. And they were able, and maybe it's obviously the power of the next gen consoles. It really just preserves that like intense, crowded, like loud, dense, foggy, dusty, like this amazing battlefield landscape that like was never in any of the previous Dynasty Warriors games. And I just think that's so amazing that they were like, fine, like we can do it now. We can have like 2,000 niggas on screen, moving at a time, and like still on the floor when you kill them, and they're not just like disappearing, and it's just like feels like
a battlefield. So I assume that you have now played far enough to where you've done the Battle of Hulao Gate.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did that a while ago, and
the Battle of Hulao Gate was the moment for me where I was like, I get it. I get exactly why they did every change that they've made. That was still like, I think that's why I'm still playing Dynasty Warriors Origin, because every battle feels like, whoa, like I'm really, as kids, we would, play Dynasty Warriors because it's just like, this is the only game where I can kill like 1,000 people on screen. But like killing 1,000 people is casual work in this game.
Right.
Like, you're fighting whole armies, and when you're fighting armies, they fight back. Everything feels like the feedback. The most iconic sound to me in Dynasty Warriors is the roar of the army.
Right.
And the roar of the army feels so alive because I can see the army around me once I beat the stage and everybody's like, roar. Like you can see that and feel that emotion. And it's very immersive. And I like that about this game. I think
it's not something I was expecting either. I was not expecting for it to feel like, oh, this is actually like really all encompassing, like awe inspiring, because it was just so. It's like the battle, and then so Dynasty Warriors, their maps have always felt a bit. I don't know, like the word angular, geometric. They sort of always feel like here's a sharp turn and then a right and then just like narrow like ways. They always
passageways into bases.
Yeah, they always felt very unnatural, like, and then which was just part of the fucking their budget games. Yeah. So in this one, in Origins, I feel like they really were finally able to capitalize on this more naturalistic environment that feel like there's ups, like there's hills and just it feels far more natural, like you're in a more normal place. It doesn't feel like a fucking condensed version of a map. It doesn't feel as video gamey, even though it is still at its core, which is amazing that they're able to preserve like the action and all that.
Right.
Although they took away a lot of combos, but they preserved a lot of this stuff, and it just blew my mind. I was like, this is actually as mad and confused as I am at some of their decisions. This really made me overlook it, because I was like, I'm so glad that this is such a success, because they really did great work and they retained a lot of the essence, at least, of their previous games.
Yeah, I think what it is I think from a gameplay standpoint, you're right. Everything that they've done, from the little posture system to the not stealing, but pretty much copying the and that's been like that for a lot of Dynasty Warriors. Like I think One Piece Warriors has the same system where you like hold R1 and then you can do battle arts and you can change those out, and they have different things. I like that skills, they've incorporated that. I mean, I like that each weapon has a vastly different moveset. Like only the sword has the traditional square, 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 triangle moveset, where everything else you have like different styles and ways that you have to play around them. Like the wheels is my least favorite, but it is the most creative to me personally. I like that you have to time and throw out the wheels. I think that's really cool. I think the biggest change for me that I really enjoy is the fact that I only care about this one particular character. For me, Dynasty Warriors has always, and most Musou games, I kind of just stick to one character. If it's a story mode, I'll stick to if I pick one character, I'll stick to that one character until I can't play them. Then I'll play somebody else. I'm not with somebody that goes around and it's like, oh, I'm going to max out this character, or I'm going to get this character's 5th weapon or something like that. I normally get my favorites and then that's it. I like that with this one, especially with the skill tree and the way that you build your character, it does feel more personal, because I can personalize in being a sword person, or I can work on mastering my battle arts, or upgrading my weapons and stuff like that. It feels easier to manage than other Dynasty Warriors games. And even just having the other characters is like, oh, you can just swap to them whenever you get a chance in the battle, and then do their Dynasty Warriors destroy a whole army thing. Like you can do that. But there's not as prevalent as like, oh, this character's level 5, but you're in like a level 20 battle and you didn't level them up.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't, I guess it sounds like you've never liked the maybe the management aspect of like the roster management, which isn't like I wouldn't say like a huge focus entirely, but I get what you're saying, where it's like, like if you're playing the Wu story in Dynasty Warriors 7 or whatever, and you haven't played as a certain character, and they join you, and you have to choose between them 3, and then they're like the least leveled with like the weakest weapon. You're like, oh, fuck,
yeah, they don't have their 5th string attack and all this stuff like that. Like, I don't like that. So, that's why I like that I can just go straight in with my character and enjoy the battle.
Yeah. See, that was, I think, my favorite thing about the game is probably the graphical upgrade and the feeling of the gameplay. I like the progression systems that they've added in there. Like I love the fact that you get all these skills, and depending on how much you use the skills, like it'll say like, you've used this skill 15 out of 50 times. And if you use it the 50 times, then it like upgrades that skill. I feel like that's a really great progression system where it's like you keep using this weapon and you unlock more for it. You keep using this skill and you unlock more for it. Like I've always loved systems like that, you know, because it like rewards it rewards the inherent repetition that would be Dynasty Warriors, right? Because its gameplay loop is pretty repetitive if you're not already into it, or, you know, I guess enjoy it. But so that's probably my favorite way that they've implemented some of the things. But I do have, I mean, 25 hours in, there are a lot of decisions that I'm very conflicted on. Like, I get what you're saying, but I think that they didn't even nail that to where I can agree and be like, yeah, I'm glad they only focus on one character. Because ultimately, I think that a lot of Dynasty Warriors fans, one of the pillars is the roster, is the amount of different weapons. And they did this with Samurai Warriors 5, where they truncated the amount of people. They were like, okay, let's just do 12 niggas, you know? And then they gave them...
I like Genchio. All of my favorite characters were the ones that was gutted. Like Genchio,
and they took away... for some reason, they took away like all like the fun weapons that they had animated and gave, like, each character had a weapon and it was like their identity, and it felt so cool because you don't really know too much about each individual character. So like the visual representation that like, oh, you know, this character has a laser sword and this character has a sickle and chain and this character fights with the flute, and it's just like...
And I did like that each character had their own like R1 special where it was like if you press R1 with him, he'll power up his sword and then he does like tornadoes, or this guy does like shadow clones or something like that. Like it did, you make every character unique, especially because they each had different chains. Like some characters had like XXXXX, like the 7th strings and 10th strings, and some characters had like 5 triangle moves and stuff like that. So and so it made fun. I think a lot of people, and myself included, liked being able to play with different characters and you know, finding your like top 5 that you always go between and all this stuff. And what they did here was they're like, nah, let's just give you this blank slate, which I'm like, okay, fine, blank slate. All right. And then they're like, we're also going to reduce the amount of weapon types, which is down to what, 9 or 10, something like that. I believe it's 10.
Yeah. So that's down
like a post game 10th weapon or something like that.
Yeah. And so I feel like, and that's fine too. It's like, okay, fine. Focus on 10 and make them like really good. But I feel like that already is an issue that I'm running to, where I'm like, I don't feel like these weapons are that different from one another functionally. Like the spear and the staff are pretty similar. And also like the combos for each one, they're pretty like, it's limited. Like, yeah, it's not that it's very limited. Yeah. It's very like if you look at like the, what do you call it? The command list. Yeah. It's like, this is it. Am I going to unlock more? Like, no, you don't. You unlock like, battle arts for each thing, but that's not the same as pulling off a combo. You know, it's a different feel to it, and you can only have 4 at a time anyway. So I think that I think that's the strategy that they're going for now with the battle arts, because that's how it was in 9 too, where instead of you having your strings and it being the repetitive of square, 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 triangle, or square, 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 triangle, now it's you do your square, square moves, and then you have a dodge move, and then you do that attack, and then you go into a super special move and stuff like that to make it a little bit more unique for each character. Because I noticed like some of the characters have like unique moves and battle arts for their particular weapons. Like Xiaodun, he has his traditional Muso attack. Oh, right.
Where he like slices through. He has that as just a battle art. So I think it's a cool idea, and it is good for people that are just coming into the series to be able to play it like this. But I do agree, because a lot of the not a lot of the weapons. My top weapons is the sword, the pado, the lance, and the crescent blade. And sometimes the gauntlet, but I just don't like the charge time of the gauntlet. But I don't like the staff. I don't like the spears. I don't like the wheels.
Yeah. I like the gauntlet and the staff and the padao. I hate the pikes, the double pikes. I've always hated that character's like double pikes for some reason. Like it just feels so weird.
Yeah. I like the idea of like hunkering down and like taking in the damage and then doing a giant attack. I like that.
Yeah. I'm surprised there was no sword and shield option. You know, I'm always a sword and shield guy, but so I was thinking, I'm like, okay, was the vision like, we're trying to make this as realistic as possible, you know, and that's really exemplified in the new graphics, the more dour, down to earth sort of visuals, but also a lot of the designs for the characters are a bit more realistic and not as flashy. Although some of them look the same, like some of the characters look like from Dynasty Warriors 9 and 8, and I'm like, oh, you kind of kept their same look, but other characters are more like less flashy, right? Less like just more realistic. More
he's not walking around like a drag queen.
Yeah,
he is normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they look they're more toned down, and so I'm like, okay, so maybe that's why they chose the more basic weapons. Like these are weapons that you would actually see in this historic period, and so we're not gonna have you battling with a flute, a sickle and chain, a fucking like laser sword. We're not gonna
flying
do
swords and shit.
Yeah, the flying swords. We're not gonna do fucking claws. We're not gonna do that, you know. Because
but you have a fucking sorcerer in like the first battle, bro.
That's exactly where I'm going with this. Is that I'm like, okay, so then you're not going for the realist. First off, your character, he's already like this guardian spirit,
the secret like, Illuminati as like hero that.
It's already pretty like supernatural and like unrealistic. So I'm like, wait, so then that can't be the decision why they stripped away some of like the more fun weapons, you know, and then they're deciding like, okay, we want you to be like a player insert for this character, right? Like in a JRPG,
but then they give him a name, and you can't customize him, and they give him a whole backstory,
a whole boring ass backstory, and I'm just like, so then this isn't. And then they give him this backstory, and then in each Bond moment, he doesn't say anything.
He's just staring like it's just very Persona-esque, where he's just like,
and then. Zero personality, and then like the bond moments that you have with each officer are so like
fucking long.
They're so long, and a lot of them are straight boring because they're all saying the same thing, which is like, you were amazing in the battlefield, you're incredible, I knew you had this foresight, I wish that I could be, I look up to you. I'm like, how are you guys all saying the same thing in 10 different ways? This is so boring. Like, this is insane.
You know what it
like,
is? You know
they
what it
second
is?
hit.
Dynasty Warriors always worked because you only had the particular characters that was involved in whatever the battle that was about to happen. So, like,
right.
For example, Dynasty Warriors 7's Shoes story always gets memed because of benevolence.
Yeah.
But there's such a way of talking to where it doesn't feel real. Like, why is Zhang Fei talking about, like, we're sworn brothers, and I feel like we can unite China and stop the chaos from happening? Like, nigga, we was just drinking tea, bro. Like, why are you talking to me about this, bro? Like, what do you like to do?
Exactly.
What is your hobbies?
Where's the
personality?
personality?
Give me some funny things. Exactly. Like,
your whole personality is this.
Go. What's the dude from Samurai Warriors with the guns?
Is it like Mitsunide? I know who you're talking about though. Yeah.
Yeah, but like his whole personality is that like he likes girls a lot. Like he's like a heartthrob. He's a Sanji-esque character.
Right.
And like I can imagine having a bond with him where he goes and he tries to meet with a girl and he's like, oh man, I have bad luck. And then he tries to talk to you like, what kind of girls do you like? Mm-hmm. That would feel more natural. And because I get what they're trying to do. Because it's like, okay, if you're not going to be able to play your favorite Dynasty Warriors character, then you can bond with your favorite Dynasty Warriors characters. But why is Dong Zhuo talking to me about strategy and being like, you're a great listener, I love talking with you, I don't know why I'm talking with you about this, but you're a great ally and I appreciate you? Like,
same with Lu
you're
Bu.
About to die in like 2 more episodes. Like,
yeah, same with Lu Bu. I'm just like,
Why am I talking? Yeah, I think what it is that because I know exactly what you're talking about. Because I'm currently in chapter 4, and
Okay.
chapter 3 and so far chapter 4, they're so long, and there's so much talking and so much like diatribe,
Yes.
and that's not a bad thing. Because you
Mm-mm.
have the open world, you can do your side battles, you got side content, you got your little trainings, and little things that you can do there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a bad thing to have just dialogue. But the big battles are so amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but so far and few between. Because
Yeah.
like, for example, I just played this morning before we hopped in this call.
Mm-hmm.
I sat there, I talked with Eugen,
Mm-hmm.
then I talked with a couple of Bond missions. Then I did a side mission to get 2 more guards. Then I went and I did another thing where they were talking about we need to stop Liu Bei.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went and they did another thing where they talked about how to stop Liu Bei. Then I did another cutscene where like, okay, we're gonna go stop Liu Bei. Then I did the battle to stop Liu Bei and
Yes.
Yuan Shao. And then now I'm doing, before we logged in, I'm doing all the Bond missions and all the side quests that
Mm.
opened up after completing that mission, and it's just a mind-numbing loop at this
Yes.
point now, because I'm like 35 hours in, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, just let me fight
Yes.
people at this point now, bro.
There is a huge God, yeah, you're hitting on pretty much everything I have issues with, which I'm glad to hear because it's really a huge pacing issue. And I also think that, we're talking about them stripping away all these things, and the characters and their weapons, and that's what gave it variety. And now, not only are like, do we have to sit through these Bond things to get these points in order to progress our own character, but we basically have to, like, if I bring a companion in, he has a weapon that I'm already using. So when I switch to him, he has the same combos except for some of the skills that are different. I think that was a mistake. I think they should have just gave, like,
Them
if you were
each
gonna
their own
not
unique weapon.
exactly, like, if I'm gonna bring like Zhang He, if I'm gonna bring him in, have him have his claws. So when I switch to him, it's like a unique experience because it's timed too. They make them so powerful, and when you switch to them, you can only be that character for so long.
Yeah, it's only like a minute and a half
Yeah,
at most.
you're just like, okay. So there's that aspect. So I think over time too, even the gameplay starts to become a bit more repetitive than I think it would have otherwise been if you could switch to different characters, or if they didn't want to animate all these characters, to include some of the quirky, weird weapons that are part of the series and that are like fun. Like,
Yeah, because I think about like Eugen, he used to have the hook swords, and now he just has
yes,
a crescent. Or yeah, like you were talking about Jian Shu, how he doesn't have a chain and sickle, or
yes.
Gan Ning doesn't have a chain and sickle. Soon Say not having tonfas. Like,
It's yeah, it's just like now we have more clones somehow. There's less characters to play, but we have more clones, which was the Samurai Warriors 5 issue. So it's that
yeah,
starts to
they
weigh
could have
on
just
you.
gave him the like traditional square triangle move sets with those
Yes.
unique weapons. They didn't have, like, they could have left all the unique play styles for the
Yeah.
player character and their 9 weapons, and then when you switch to them, just have them be a traditional Dynasty Warrior.
That's it.
Just go ham.
Yeah. I think it would have given it more depth, because even though it's just square triangle, whatever, those combos still required you to learn them and to know what did what and when to use what combo.
Exactly,
it's
because
still
not everybody's weapon, their square triangle was like a clear all floor clearer, or their square triangle wasn't a single target attack. Sometimes it was a buff, or
yeah.
this sets up something that you could activate with your 5th attack or something like that. So
Yeah. Lianxi was one of my favorite characters to use in Dynasty Warriors 8 and 7, and she had the crossbow.
yes, I loved her.
I'm just like, why? Like, there's just so many strange decisions that I feel like I think they've worn away at me with Samurai Warriors 5, because that was the same experience I had where I was like, you could reduce the amount of characters and then you duped a lot of the weapons, and it started to get repetitive for me, and that's what's sort of happening here. On top of the fact that some of the systems, like the create gem systems, is so
dumb,
one dimensional to me. I'm like, so I just collect these pyrocines and then they just level these up. I don't even get to choose which one I want to level up. It's just randomized. And each gem is like, I was hoping you were going to get more gems.
Yeah, and they're just like basic stat parameters. Like I was wishing that like once you hit level 10, it would be like, oh, this extends your attack range and your parry window.
Yeah.
Or like adding secondary effects or something of the sorts like that. But it's just upgrading those gems, which I don't mind. I kind of like that it's just upgrading those gems. But it's like, you could give me a little bit more. And I guess the accessories do allow you to customize your character a little bit more differently, but I haven't taken off both attack gems. I got like an attack plus 20 and an attack plus 10, and they haven't gotten off yet.
And I think that's the other thing where I think they could have really honed in on making, okay, so like you were talking about earlier, like the skills, how you can make your character feel different. But I would counter that where I feel like the skill trees, you have the first skill trees all filled out, I'm guessing, right?
I have like every skill tree.
Exactly. That's a problem, is that it like there's never a question of like, oh, should I go this route or in this route and forego these things? You're going to get all of them. Like, yeah. So then it ultimately becomes this, like, we're all making the same character, and my character doesn't feel, I'm sure it doesn't feel that much different from your character. So then,
yeah, it's just depending on because what I'm doing is every time I level up a weapon, so like for example, all my weapons, I'm now leveling them up to level 7 right now, and I'm going, like, once I level 1 up to 7, then it's like, okay, and then we go to the next weapon, then I go to the next weapon. But some person might just go like beeline just sword and be like, I just like the sword, I'm just going to beeline that, I'm only going to play that. I think what it is for me is I think the game's just too long, and as a diehard Dynasty Warriors fan, I think the issue is I want to replay the game. I want to play as Wu. I want to see what Wu's story is, see their battles, see what's going on with them.
Who did you choose? I totally missed.
I chose Wei.
Okay, I'm going with Sun Se, the Sun clan.
Okay. Yeah. And like, I want to play Wu's story. I want to play Shu's story, but it's kind of tricky because if their chapter 3s and chapter 4s is as long as what I've experienced right now, and I haven't even gotten to whatever the fuck the next chapter is. Right. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, if they were shorter, or if they cut out a lot of the preamble before big battles, and just let it go, I think I would probably enjoy it more. Like, for example, if they had the big battle just pop up, like, boom, here's your, because they have like the little, like, sometimes snippets where it's like, this happened in like black and white.
Oh,
like, like this happened, and then you just pop back up on the map. Like, if they just had that, and then you can have like a little war council talk beforehand, and then the big battle pops up, and then you could talk to all the officers and stuff like that before the battle. Right. But it was just, everything was opened up. Instead of me having to talk to this person, go out, talk to this person, go out, talk to this person, go out, then I have a battle. Like, I think that would make it a lot better. Just streamline the whole situation. Especially because people are going to want to replay this game. But if I'm already at 30, 40 hours right now, and I still have like a lot to go, apparently, I'm probably going to just beat Wei and just put the game back and be like, I'll play it.
Have you seen,
I'll replay it.
Did you look ahead of the weapons and what they unlock too? Yeah. Yeah. Tell me, you were did you were you excited for what?
No. Like, even now when I just unlocked, like, I just upgraded the Powdo to like level 7, and like now it's like, oh, if you hit somebody with the like dodge charge, it like instantly charges to the next level. And I'm like,
that's
I don't fucking care. Like,
it also takes forever to get, like, after you reach level 5 with each weapon,
it takes
the amount of XP. I'm like, do I have to be doing something in battle with this weapon in order for that to, because it's taking a fucking long ass time. It's incredible how long it's taking.
I did one of those little random battles that you can do, because I was like,
skirmishes,
okay, I'm gonna see how much. 'Cause I think I had like 11,000 to like level up the wheel. So I was like, I'm gonna do this battle, then I'll do the big battle, and by the time I finish that big battle, the wheel will be leveled up. And I
Right.
did the battle, and it was like a capture the base mission. Captured the
Right.
base, finished it. It only gave me 1,000 points for the entire battle, and I killed like 400 people. And I'm like, that's insane. That's too low for me. But I mean, I think there is a like a, but I did peep. There is in the store like a thing that you can buy. Like there's like one where like increases your proficiency for like 200 seconds or something like that.
Oh, nice.
And then
That's what I
there's
was
also-
hoping for.
There's also another one where you can buy where you just straight up get like 20 skill points or something like that. So there is ways that you could grind and get it. I assume, there's going to be an ultimate weapon or on replays or something like that. You can be like, okay, I'm maxing out this. I just spent all my money or whatever in New Game Plus and just bought all the skill points. So I don't got to worry. I can just beeline everything. So
yeah, I'm hoping that, I don't know. I mean, I want to say like that they'll do DLC weapons. I just don't think they will.
I can see them doing one DLC.
Like a set or like
adding
weapons,
like,
you think?
Yeah, I think I can see them doing like one DLC where they add like 2 or 3 weapons. Like they'll probably add, like you said, tonfas or claws. And then they'll probably add like, I'm trying to think of another weird, like chain and sickle. They'll probably add that.
I hope.
Or like a regular katana, like the Zhao Tai.
Oh, I could see them doing that. Yeah.
They'll probably add that, and then they'll probably add like a gauntlet mode or like a roguelike mode or something like that and call it a day. And then move on to Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors 6 or whatever they work on next. I think that's probably all that we'll get out of this game, unfortunately, because I feel like they put too much into it to where it's like you can't add like the other games. They have a billion DLCs. I don't think this will be one of those games. They'll get a roguelike mode, it's a couple new weapons, couple costumes.
I think because it's sold well and it's gotten such, I mean, it's getting like IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. A Dynasty Warriors game got a 9 out of 10.
A lot of people gave it a 9 and 10 out of 10. Like a lot of people really like this game.
In some way, we are in the best timeline because this is one of our favorite franchises. We have a lot of love for this, right? And so I'm happy that it's doing well. But yeah, some of the decisions and the pacing and the character writing, sometimes I'm just like, nigga, can you tell me something new? And then there's this part of me that feels like I have to watch it because I feel like they're gonna say something important. So I'm frustrated in some way where I'm like, come on. Like I'm reading half of it and then I'm like, okay, that's nothing. And then I'm reading half of it. I'm like, okay, nothing there. Just hoping. Right. Yeah. And then like there's even more frustrating. And I think this is, in the beginning it was exciting because you were doing things and it was unlocking all these mechanics.
But see, the yellow turban was always one mission. That was just the first mission. It was just yellow turbans, then you do like one mission, and then Zhang Jiao.
But yeah, I don't know. Overall, 25 hours in, what you're 35 hours in.
It's a good game. If you've never played a Dynasty Warriors game, this is the game to get. Like this is the gateway drug for a lot of people. But for us that have heard the story of Hulao Gate, Sush Battle Shipi, Battle of Shibi, like we've heard and seen and played these battles through numerous iterations, whether it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 3 Empires, Extreme Legends. We've played this numerous of times to where the fact that the story isn't really telling anything groundbreaking or new. For a new person, they probably are having a blast right now. Yeah. But for us, it's and besides, I've never been there's a subset of Warriors fans that are like weird about the characters. Like they stand one character. They're like, I fucking love Zingji, or like, I have Salpi as my avatar and shit like that. Like,
there are diehards for sure.
Yeah, we're not them. So like for me, I just play whoever's cool. Like I like normally the big burly characters who have like strong attacks and stuff. So
yeah, Huang Gai with his he used to have like a giant boat.
The anchor? Yeah.
The anchor boat thing? Yeah. Like that
was cool.
Why would you take that away from me? And I guess I'm conflicted because it's selling so well. So I'm guessing they're like, cool, we made the right decision to like give everybody just swords and staffs. That's cool.
And I think okay, I think in a future title, which they probably will do this exact same thing, but with Samurai Warriors come in the future. It's not going to follow Nobunaga Oda. It's probably going to follow like Kenshin or something like. What's the other dude? The priest dude. It's probably going to follow Kenshin or like Mitsunari or somebing like that. Yeah, they're probably going to do the exact same thing with Dynasty Warriors, and they'll probably learn their lesson and make a couple more like wild weapon choices.
Right. Well, they already sort of did that with Samurai Warriors 5. This feels very close to Samurai Warriors 5 in a lot of the decisions that they made to focus on like Nobunaga and show him aging and all this.
What do you rate it? The year though,
it is
so far. I still give it like a 4.5
out of 10. That's low as fuck, dude. That's crazy.
Wow, out of 5.
I would give it a strong 4 out of 5. Just because those battles are still so amazing. Like the gameplay aspect is still so strong. They just need to go harder. They just need to do. I'm like, why? Like, did you guys lose someone? And they're like, oh, we lost a guy that knows how to create all these different weapons and make them fun.
Bro, and the English dub is ass, bro. I love that we got English dub back, but that shit is...
It's ass. It's bad.
Louis Boo.
Yeah. Did you see that I wrote that? The name pronunciations? Some of them are correct, but I'm like, wait a second. Now,
we're not
some
saying
of these...
Louis Boo. Just say Louis Boo, bro.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. And then there's a Yuan Shou and Yuan Shao, and like there's a point where they're like talking about both of them, and I'm like, I don't even know who we're talking about anymore. I'm getting so confused.
I'm looking at the subtitles like, okay, Shao.
Yeah, Shao. Okay. Yeah. So, all right.
That's.
So you think there's gonna be a Dynasty Warriors 10 still, or do you think like because this? I think this was like a spin-off.
They canceled Dynasty Warriors 10 for this. They said that they were working on Dynasty Warriors 10, and they canceled that to make Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Yeah.
So
what? I'm confused because I'm like,
they just pivot. Maybe the sales they just go fuck it. Let's just
Origins, Dynasty Warriors Origins 2.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors Origins 2. They'll probably change the name to something else. Dynasty Warriors : something else Conquest, and then they'll go into the full Wei Wuxu storyline. And maybe they'll learn their lesson and make you be able to create your own character and customize them. They'll probably just steal Rise of the Ronin and add gear to where like, oh, you have armor. This gives you +5 when you're using spears. Some stupid shit.
What do you think about the idea if they were like Dynasty Warriors Origins, right? And then it's just Wei or just Wu or like whoever. It's just one of the kingdoms. And then the next one is just that kingdom. Like really go in depth with their characters of that whole kingdom, like the Wu kingdom or whoever. Like really make the story compelling. Like make proper cutscenes, not just like them just sitting there talking to each other. Like, oh hey, what do you think about this? Like real like nice cutscenes. Like that cutscene where Diao Chan is.
Oh yes, when she tries to take out Zhang Shuo.
Yeah, like I'm like I want more cutscenes like this, not the ones where they're just sitting there like. Hey, do you want to go on a walk with me?
I get what you're saying. So, like, if every cutscene was like that,
yeah, basically, like
just told a full story.
Cut out the other two kingdoms for this game. Just make it one kingdom, and then maybe the next game you get the other side, and then you already had this attachment to all these characters, as opposed to trying to juggle like 3 kingdoms. Yeah. And I don't know. I was just thinking about that.
I think it's weird to say. Because I like that they incorporate the conquest mode into the story mode. I do like that. And I'm trying to think in my head if it would be better if the story was just straight one to the next, big battle to big battle. And then you had your story modes, which are Wei Wuxu. And then you had your conquest mode, and conquest mode was as fleshed out as the story mode is right now in Dynasty Warriors. I wonder if that would be a better choice. You know what I mean? Like, so you can knock out and you can do all 3 stories, still enjoy that, still see all the big battles, and then they can have their randomly generated big battles and armies and tactics and all that stuff that they could do, or they can even do like more obscure battles, or like what's the Menghu and all those Zurong and all them over there. They can have them be in the conquest mode. It's like all this different side battles and other bullshit that was going on that's not a major battle. They can have that in the conquest mode for you to do, and you can build your bonds and all your fuck shit. You know, maybe that's the way that they got to go. Maybe.
Yeah, because it's curious, because they really wanted to focus on the story and the granular stuff, and then I feel like they just kind of dropped the ball with that, because we're obviously getting bored and tired, and we're just like, you guys are being generic and just saying shit that's too general. I want to do this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll save this for next time, because I definitely want to talk about games being too fucking long. Every game is too long nowadays, bro. Entirely. We need to go back to the 8-hour experience, man.
You know, I used to feel that way. I think that there's a couple of things I think that might lead you to have that attitude. I'll break it down. I think first, as we've gotten older, we've played more of these experiences. We have less patience. We're less immersed. We are more aware of the amount of time that things take. And so I think with that, we just want a shorter, like quicker experience so we can get on to the next thing, right? Because we want to, I mean, there's so many more games out too that we want to like move on to the next thing. But I think that with the value of games, the way they work and the amount of money that goes into them and who's playing them, I think there's still an added value to have games be lengthy in some sense, to have like a good amount of content. Now, whether the content is quality content or not is like a whole different thing. But I think that having long games is still like, it's starting to make more sense to me, because I'm not the only person that's playing them. There's a lot of kids that are playing these games, and I think that you get so games should. I was reading an article essentially saying that games are one of the pieces of media that have somehow escaped inflation. Games should be like $90 to $100 if they were beholden to like regular inflation rules, but somehow they've only stayed 60 and they've only gone up to 70. But games actually, like, if you adjust it for proper inflation of the way prices are rising and how expensive it is, games should be really like, so imagine paying $100 for like an 8-hour experience, a tight 8-hour experience. I think a lot of people would be like,
feel unsatisfied. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, even the remake, no matter how amazing it looks, it still came out at like $40.
Yeah, dude, I saw that.
Free on one console. So like,
I saw the price because I was like, I might pick this up just to see, and then it was like $49.99. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those things. I'll wait for it to go on sale in 4 months or whatever, whenever Ninja Gaiden comes out, and then I'll get it, because they're going to obviously have a Ninja Gaiden sale before they like release it. So I'll cop it then. No patch, because they're already talking about patching it and adding extra stuff. Okay, cool. I can wait.
Yes.
I think you put the nail in the coffin with the discussion, because like you said, we are adults, and I think about this from the lens of a 28-year-old and not from the lens of, if I was 14, like I was back in the day, copping Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors Empires or whatever.
Right.
I played the fuck out of those games, particularly because it had so much content. That's why I gravitated towards playing Oblivion for the 8th time, or, like, there's people still to this day that are like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm playing Skyrim modded with this type of mod or something of the sorts like that. I'm playing Fallout New Vegas, but this time I'm doing all assault rifles. Like, there's people that still play those games and still find new content, and because those worlds are so expansive and there's so much that you can do, you can have infinite replayability out of those games. The same way I would have infinite replayability up until I sold my Xbox 360 playing Samurai Warriors 2 Empires, just because I like making characters and doing the different randomized like challenges and stuff like that. So I get it. You know what I mean? It is good because the 13-year-old in me would have definitely enjoyed Dynasty Warriors Origins for what it is right now. I would be immersed. I'd be like, bro, Eugen is my guy.
I think what we have to do is we have to decide that it's okay to drop out of a game.
Yes.
At a certain amount of time. I think we have this completionist mentality. And I think that convincing the industry that start making shorter games when there are plenty of games that are pretty short, but there's a lot of games that aren't. And actually, just let me go back to this point about basically the economics, but also the way that gamers or the industry.
Yeah, because when you say a game is only 12 hours long, people assume, it has no content.
Yes. So I want to talk about the attitude that the general audience has for games, right? And especially for the price. If you're charging $70, which this game was, I think the majority of people are like, okay, if it's only 12 hours, I'm not going to buy that. Like, that's the mentality. That's the pervasive mentality. If it's 20 hours or less and it's $70, most niggas are like, I'm just going to play this free-to-play game.
Yeah, I'm going to keep playing Fortnite. I'm going to play Marvel Rivals and just buy a battle pass.
Which I think is interesting because the reason that we have these free-to-play models and all of this is, I think, because of both mobile gaming and the way just audiences interacted with those games, but also because the games aren't being priced at what they're valued at. So, like, again, I was mentioning that the games right now should probably be like $89.99, $99.99. But studios are closing down. Like, there's this huge inflationary backlash that's happening where we don't want to pay that much, but we're demanding
that much.
Pretty much, that much. And so, like, companies are doing free-to-play models because they're like, well, audiences clearly don't want to pay that much, and so we need to create different ways of monetization.
Yeah.
And
so, if I can get somebody to pay $20 for this battle pass for 3 months, then $20 for this 3 months, and then $20
it's more digestible to people.
$70 in a whole year. I'm going to get you to pay $20, and then I'm going to drop a bunch of skins, so I can probably make $145 on an average consumer.
There is a whole psychological loop for, if we can look, people don't want to pay $90 up front. Let's just charge them $15 a month or whatever for the season pass. That's far more palatable to people, which is so amazing when you think about the way that we work and just like the way that consumers are affecting this market, like gaming industry, and how we're in some way responsible for some of the decisions that are being made, and why some studios have to be shut down because it's just like, we just can't do, like, people didn't buy the game even though it was amazing, but it was only 8 hours and we wanted this much for it. Like, it's so fascinating how this is all coming to a head in this way. And because more people are gaming and more adults are gaming, there's a lot more literature and a lot more looking into it about this kind of stuff. So it's kind of fascinating. So when you say, like, why want games to be shorter, I would implore you,
play some shorter games.
No, I would implore you to, like, well, just think about the whole economics of why some of these games are so long. That doesn't exactly always justify it. Some games just have a lot of filler. But, like, for me, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I don't care. People hated it because it was so bloated, but I'm like, no one's forcing you to do all that side content. The main story was only like 35 hours, and I still think about going back because I thought it was an amazing game.
You don't have to complete everything. You don't have to platinum. You don't have to min-max. Just play the game for what it is. Like, right now on Dynasty Warriors, I'm not even playing the random battles. I only play the random battles when I'm bored and I'm like, I just need to fight something real quick.
Right.
I'm going straight for the story. So, I mean, it is what
so it's
it
tricky.
Is.
It's tricky. I mean, you just played Meta 4, which was 90. What'd you spend on it?
90, almost close, like damn near. Might as well say 100 hours.
Yes, that's a long time.
Did it feel like 100 hours? Yes. Did it need to be 100 hours?
Probably not.
It could have been. I would even give it 60 hours. I'd be like, cool. That was good.
Yeah.
But oh my god, bro. I'm about to I'm about to rate it lower a star on backlog, bro. I'm about to give it a 2.
It is fascinating. Yeah, and I think too that's because I never thought about this, but I've been watching a lot of like game design videos, and really when you choose a system for your game, a battle system, that directly correlates with how long your game is going to be. So if you choose a tactical RPG, you are already saying like this game is going to be long, depending on the story beats, depending on how long these battles are going to be. Turn-based games are inherently longer because you're in a battle a lot longer than you would be in an action RPG that has the time flowing in a more real-time way. You know, you're like, you get into like, you have to look at menus and decide all this stuff in turn-based RPGs that just inherently bloat the time.
Yeah, a battle that normally would take 5 minutes in an action combat stance, is like a boss battle or something like that, is now
could take double
minutes.
Exactly, yeah. And then also the fact that there's a lot of fucking dialogue in those games too. They be yapping.
Japanese people love to yap, bro. Every fucking Japanese game, bro. That's why we'll save it for the next status check, because we'll probably be actually playing Monster Hunter Wilds when it comes out. But so far, cut that yapping shit out, bro. Let me.
Okay, so
let me hunt.
We have about like 30 minutes before you have to go.
Oh, I gotta go right now. It's 4:50 for me.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
We'll just wrap it up then. That's a 2-hour episode right there. We can always talk about some of this other stuff later.
Yeah, we'll just and then just.
Okay, so that is status check, guys. Episode, who knows? We're not doing status check episodes. This is just status check. This is just the conversational podcast. Yeah. I do feel bad that we didn't have Chris on to talk about Dynasty Warriors Origins. I would have liked to hear what he said.
We'll talk about it. We'll once we separate from the game for a couple months, we'll come back to it in May and see how we're feeling about the game after a couple months later.
True. Well, make sure to watch our video game podcast, Back of the Rack. If you want more about games, we go in depth on games that we feel are long neglected and not respected. You can follow us on Twitter, and we also have a brand new channel called BOTR Radio, which is basically all of our musical tastes wrapped up in about 1 hour, 2 hour long mixes. And so if you like some video game music, go over there.
Enjoy it.
And the first, I think we have 3 out, and they're fucking excellent. So far you haven't missed, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for
on the
downfall.
miss.
I'm waiting.
I know the mix that's gonna be the miss. I know the exact mix.
What? Which one?
Hold on,
I'm curious.
Hold on. I got you right here. I'm gonna say it just by number, so only you know. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, because I know you have your bossa mix, and I'm like a huge fan of bossa nova, so I'm curious what you've chosen.
I just listened to that one. That
mix.
One's gonna be good. That's a good mix. It's one of my favorite ones. The one that's gonna be a miss is the rock one, unfortunately.
Oh, well, okay. I mean that's a given. We'll see what.
Yeah. I was really hunting for that one.
Yeah. We'll see how that one goes over with the listeners. But yeah, so don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. And thank you for listening to us ramble. Shout out to our Discord. Got a bunch of great people over there. So join that if you haven't. We like to talk about a lot of random shit there.
Play along with us. We like to make it like a pretty much a game of the month situation. So right now we're playing, well, I don't know when this is releasing, so let me not say that. But right now we are playing one of the games for Back of the Rack. We're like, I think when we recorded this, episode 1 is out. We're talking about episode 3 right now. I've announced it. So yeah, we're playing Wet right now. Yes. And trying to make it more of a like actual event thing. So if you want to play along these games, they're all announced. You know which ones to switch. So if you want to hop in, play with your boys, talk about the game. We might miss some things. Come join in.
Yeah. And also, just the way our podcast is structured, you don't have to play the game to watch the video. We explain what the game is, all like the developer stuff about it, the mechanics. we explain that in a scripted section, and then we talk at length in a more conversational style after. So you don't have, just because you might not have played the game doesn't mean that, you know, you're excluded from the podcast, because we try to make sure that everybody is on board. So, all right.
If you played it in the past, played it in the future, go back, listen to it. If you're like, oh shit, I played Lord of the Rings the Third Age, go back and listen to the episode.
I forgot we played that.
Me too.
We need to do Conquest. We need to do Conquest next season. Lord of the Rings Conquest. Okay. Well, thanks guys for tuning in. Talk to you later.